Good evening and welcome to another episode of Gaming with The Sims. Sorry there's been no recent uploads of videos recently. I've had exams and I've been extremely busy, so I do apologise. This week we're going to be looking at the miniature game Star Wars Legion. As you can see in the little box, at the bottom it's over the table I've got here, which has got a collection of some of the miniatures for the game at the moment. There is a tournament tomorrow at late notice for an organised play at the Harlequin store in Preston. So it is £5 and it's about once a month there will be a tournament going on with it. This game has only just it's recently come out a couple of months ago, and we'll be going through it and seeing what some of the models are like and how it plays. So, as I say, it came out 2 months ago. Originally when it came out with a core box like this with the rules, a selection of miniatures within it, packs for all the miniatures other than the heroes where you can get add-ons for it, and 2 models which weren't in the core box itself. One of which is the speeder you can see here for the Rebels. You'd recognise this from episode 5 of Star Wars. And then for the Mighty Imperial, there is one of their big ATSTs here. I have not built this yet. As you can tell, I've only really built my Rebels side of it, but we will have a look at it. So that came out, and then since then, a month later, some expansions started coming out for it. So we first got, I'll go through the core box at the moment. We've got, for the Rebel side of it, we have got Luke Skywalker, we've got some Rebel Troopers, and then we've got some support units there for the Rebels, as you can see here. This one isn't fully painted, I've just started undercoating my units. And then we've got the Airspeeder. So that's what originally came out. So you've got 2 units of troops, a HQ, a support in the core box. You could buy them separately other than the leader. And then you also had the Airspeeder as well, the snow speeder. For the Imperial side, we got Darth Vader for the leader. We've got some regular stormtroopers, and we've got some speeders. So the Imperial side is more what you see in episode 6, with the Rebels more like episode 5. So as you can tell, the whole era of Star Wars Legion at the moment is set in the middle trilogy, as it were, in the Star Wars films, so episodes 4, 5 and 6. One quick note to say about this: when you build these, some people got caught out if you stuck the C3 peg to the base. It does go a particular way, so do watch out if you are building it, these units. And then also their big gun, which came out at release, was, as I say, the ATST. In the box also you got little barricades. You got some measuring sticks. There are 3 sizes of these, so different units have different size movements. And then you've got 5 different unique type of dice, which are here, as you can see. The attack dice are all 8-sided dice, and the defense dice are regular D6. As you'll notice, there are different colours. It represents the different values. So the white one have the most blank spaces on. Then it goes black with a few less white spaces, and then red, which for the attack dice only has 1. There is 1 crit and 1 surge ability on each of the attack dice, and then the others are either blanks or hits. For the defense dice, you've only got 2 colours. Again, white is the worst, and we've got different surge shapes, so it's easy to recognise on the cards. And then red is got a few less blank spaces on them. So it's, instead of saying you've got to roll a certain amount to hit or to do anything, they've done different coloured dice to represent different shoot values for different types of troopers. So for your army, at the moment games are all at 800 points. This could change a bit with, I would say, well, it won't change in the next 3 years probably, but they might tweak it and make it work at a different point scale, like they've fine-tuned X-Wing with that's new release, well, 2.0 version in September this year. So it works on a turn base, so you alternate between units. For a normal game, you need to have at least 1 hit hero or leader, and then 3 troops. As I say, you get 2 troops in the core box. What I did was I got 2 core boxes to start with. You get extra terrain. It's worthwhile if you're wanting to do both factions. If you want to do one faction, I'd recommend, if you and a friend are getting one faction and they're different, each buy a box and then swap the armies. Because if you get 2 boxes and then like one big like heavy, so either the airspeeder or the ATST, you are about 800 points there. Since the release, we have had an injection of new items or units for both Rebels and Imperials. If we have a look at the Imperials first, we got some Snow Troopers to make it a bit more themed, so a bit more like Episode 5 era, and we also got General Vice. General Veers. There is a Vice in the ATST, but that's only like to man it. So Veers can be another leader. He is a lot cheaper than Darth Vader because of if you have Darth Vader and an ATST, you do hear some people say you do not get many units, or you're lacking in units. So people say like first turn it's unfair because they have to move the whole army, and then the rebels can use half their good armies in range, and then they get a better like first turn of attacking. It's up to the players, and it's all to do with tactics and setup of the games. For rebels, the other commander you can use is Leia, and we have got some fleet troopers. So people might remember these as being the troopers in the Corvette at the start of episode 4, and these have got 2 attacks normally, but they are a lot shorter range. So you have got different abilities for leaders. You can field both leaders if you want. It's something I will be wanting to try with my rebels at the moment, but for tomorrow I will be just using the normal 800 point list I've used twice before, which you can see fully built on this table. Each unit comprises of, when you get them out of the box, 7 guys. You normally get 1 leader for it, 4 regular troopers, and then 2 special like heavy weapon troopers. Normally when you buy the army unit for it, it comes with a leader and 3 normal troopers, and then you've got the upgrade to add another trooper, and if you want, add a heavy weapon. So you can have it between 4 to 6. You don't have to have a trooper if you just want to have a heavy weapon. I normally always buy the extra trooper because of it takes a bit longer for the unit to die, and it just gives out a bit more firepower. The heavy units, personally, I find are a bit too expensive. for the weapons, and some of the weapons are tap, so you have to use one of your two actions. One of the two actions you get a turn to like ready it. So it means you can't like move or aim or dodge if you want to also fire, which is a bit limiting. So hopefully we'll get to see maybe in later on a few more like orders to make it you be able to ready or to do other actions. We do see a few at the moment, like Luke can tell some trooper units to get a dodge, which can help out if you're trying to minimise casualties. It is recommended that all games are played with like 25% scenery, and you want to get that scenery because it can make a massive difference in Star Wars Legion. And there isn't much terrain out I've seen recently for it, but more and more are getting ready for terrain. It's only been out 2 months. We'll see more units, like Han Solo is coming out in September, October time, and obviously Imperials will get more, and we'll get more units. I know Rebels are getting commanders, so these might be like snipers. I haven't seen the cards yet, but there's rumoured what they could be. So it'll be interesting coming out. So with all the units, as I say, you get 2 choices of heavy weapons per unit. The supports, like this one, they do have 3 different types of gun which you can buy for them. The ATST also has a collection of 4 guns in total, and you can have between 1 and all 4 on it, and you can fire between 2 or 4 depending on how you equip it. I do recommend magnetising these so you have multiple options. The Airspeeder, you don't have to magnetise its second gun at the back, because it's at the top, it just fits into the slot quite nicely. There are also, this isn't fully built, I'm going to finish building it once I've painted it so I can do a better job, but there is like fins to go on it at the top and the base to make it better. You'll see with it, it is a plastic kit, but it's hard plastic, so you do need to use super glue for it, and I would recommend a good pair of clippers and a crafting knife to take away the mould lines. However, it is all push fit. It's quite simple. I've only glued all my guys to the base. The arms can come off quite easily, and if you don't want to glue the arms at the moment to paint like I am doing, they stay on quite well. So it's going to be interesting. I'm hoping to get a couple of games recorded so you can see it and play tomorrow. So there is a nice variety. For missions, there are different varieties of them. It's basically determined at the start of the game. There are 12 different cards which make up the missions. You have got 4 setup cards, you've got like 4 terrain cards or special objectives, and then you've got the actual missions, how to win it. At the start of the game you put them all out, you shuffle each pack individually, you knock out one of them so you have 3 of each, and then you take it in turns and you eliminate 2, and then how the grid works is the ones to the furthest to one side that will be your goal, your special features and the setup of it. So there is a good variety of games and setups at the moment that you can see. If you want to have a look inside one of these boxes, I've got all of my core areas, like all my troops, in a case, but I've kept half of it in a box. When you get a box, it does look like this. I'll go through some of the other miniatures in a minute. But if you can see in here, I've got obviously 2 sets of dice here, so I've got enough dice to roll all at once. All my terrain here, I've got barricades with some more on the table, but it all fits in here. Measuring sticks, so everything measures in a 6 inch. or you've got to make sure you have these measuring tools here. These do come in the core box anyway, and that's how you move. But these, which measure range and setup, are 6 inches long, and they do slide in together. So you get 4 of them in each core box. So you need to measure up to range 4. Be careful when you're sliding them in and out, because they do clip together, because I have snapped them. They aren't the strongest of them, but they're good to be kept apart, because then you've got an easy pack away. I normally put my supports here, which are the bikes for Imperials, or these walkers. And then obviously I've got the stand for my speeder here, and the speeder sits in here. The big ATST, I haven't figured out how I'm going to transport that around, because it is quite big. I put all my other cards here, and then you've got space for all your tokens in your other slots here. So here we go. When you get into it, if we have a look at how the core box is set up, all your little guys come in a bag, and they've got 2 models in each bag. As you've got 2 units, these are the identical models for each of the units, and you get different coloured bases. You have grey for your Imperials and red for your Rebels. So it's quite easy to tell them from a distance, so you'll be able to see I've got red bases here, with some of them sprayed brown for my Rebels, and I've got some grey bases here for my Imperials. As you can see, I've got a second set, so I've got a second set of movement tokens, another set of the characters here, and that's basically it. So it is quite nice to know. You also get a quick reference guide here, on the back, and like a learn how to play book. The more on-depth rules are all on a downloadable version from the Fantasy Flight website. So this was Star Wars Legion. If you've got any other questions, please comment on this video, and I will answer them in the video in 2 weeks' time when we come back. Have a little more look after we've hopefully got some gameplay little sessions for to view, and we'll also see how the game looks in a tournament fashion, with all the games playing the same scenarios. At the moment I've just had one-off games where you select it, and I've played the same mission twice, but different setup and different special features, and that mission did favour the Rebels, but I know a lot of people love playing the Imperials, so we will have a look at how that goes on. As I say, please comment on if you've got questions. Next Friday is going to be a special episode. We're going to have a look at the plan for all the Fridays moving forward and what we're going to see. It's also my birthday episode, and hopefully you'll see one of the people who will be hopefully co-hosting some of the episodes, and you'll see more often in some of the board game episodes. So today, as I say, we've looked at a miniature game, but then next week we'll be doing previews of quite a few of the board games we'll be seeing in the next year or so. We're also hearing what plans are going to come up. So please like, share, comment and subscribe, and please spread the word, as this is a reasonably new channel. So good night, and see you in a week.